We're joined today by Nan Gurley. And as you just said, you are the star of The Hiding Place, which is the new Corrie Ten Boom film. And this is actually a stage play that has now been turned into a film. It's going to be in Winnipeg in the very near future. First of all, we want to get to know you a little bit better. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into this world of acting and stage.
I was born into it. My parents were both lovers of theater and were on stage every chance they got, and were singers. My dad was a music teacher and drama professor. And so I grew up in a home that encouraged the arts, encouraged creativity. And Dad would always buy the latest Broadway album soundtrack that came out. And I have three brothers, and part of my chores each week was to iron their shirts, Colleen. My brothers and my dad's shirts. This is before polyester. Everything was cotton. So I would set up the ironing board in the dining room by the stereo and put on the albums of Broadway musicals and memorize all the songs, sing all the songs while ironing, figuring out how to iron collars and cuffs for my dad and my brothers. So I was born into it.
I absolutely love that. What was it about The Hiding Place that really drew you in and made you want to be a part of this?
Oh, Colleen, playing this role. I've been on stage for 50 years, and this role is the role for me to end all roles. It's just such an honor to tell this story, this woman who is an actual person. And but anyway, how I got into it. Jake Speck commissioned A.S. Peterson to do a new stage adaptation of this story. And Jake was at the time artistic director of AD Players in Houston. So he commissioned Pete, and then he called me. We'd had a lot of years together of theater. And so he knew me. He called me and offered me the role. And this was in 2019. So I went to Houston for 9 weeks and premiered it there. And then here in Nashville, Matt Logan, another dear friend who was the artistic director and founder of Studio 10, along with Jake Speck, wanted to mount it here. So last summer, we did another run of it. And during the run, we took 2 days to film our stage version of it. There were multiple cameras. It's filmed very cinematically. And now the director and producer of the film, the editors have scored it. And so it's a cinematic treatment of a stage play. So I'm very honored to be a part of it and to tell this incredible true story.
And the amazing thing in all of this now is it's being debuted everywhere, including here in Winnipeg. And for those who don't actually know this story, it is a powerful one. Can you just share a little bit about the story?
I'd love to. It's the true story of the Ten Boom family. They lived in Haarlem, Holland, in the Netherlands during World War II. And this family was a part of the Dutch resistance, part of the Underground Railroad in rescuing Jews and getting them safely out of Holland. And the Ten Boom family were a family of watchmakers. In fact, Corrie was the first licensed female watchmaker in Holland. And this family was very hospitable by nature. They were always having people in their home, and they fostered the children of missionaries through the years. When the kids would have to leave the mission field and come be educated, they would live with the Ten Booms. So this is a family who had a rhythm of hospitality in their home for years. And then they were tapped on the shoulder and given the opportunity to be yet again hospitable, but now the stakes were life and death. So they welcomed Jewish refugees into their home and built a secret room called The Hiding Place. It was behind a false wall. They created a false wall in Corrie's bedroom where they could hide 6 Jews at a time. It was 2 feet wide by 8 feet tall. So 6 people could hide in there, standing up at a time. So for 2 years, they were part of the underground. And then they were caught and imprisoned. And Corrie and Betsy, her big sister, who was 5 years older than her, ended up being sent to Ravensbrück. And they were imprisoned from February of 1945 to December. When Corrie was released, Betsy died in the camp in December, and a week later, Corrie was released due to, I'm doing air quotes, I know your listeners can't see this, but due to a clerical error, meaning there's no explanation other than a divine one as to the reason why she was released. And then she spent the rest of her life traveling the world to tell people about how the Lord sustained them through this nightmare and enabled her to forgive. And so we tell the story in the play, in the film, of them being brought into the underground and hiding Jews. And then Act 2 is Betsy and Corrie in Ravensbrück. And then, of course, we have to cover the release as well and the victorious ending. But that's basically the story, the true story of the Ten Boom family.
Why do you feel that this story is so important today? This obviously happened years ago, but it's still so powerful today.
Well, obviously, if we don't learn history, we're doomed to repeat it. So we must know these stories of courageous people. If Hebrews chapter 11 were being written today, the Ten Boom family would be listed in that chapter as heroes of the faith. But one reason I think it's so important to tell it is that it's easy to look at these people as icons of the faith who came into this world fully formed as heroes, which isn't true. They learned, they grew in their courage and in their faith. They were living hidden lives of faithfulness, hidden lives of obedience all along. And then they had this opportunity to step into this moment in history. This was the hour they were born for. And they continued in this hidden act of obedience day after day, even though the stakes were so much higher. And I want people, when they see this movie, to be encouraged. I don't want people to go, oh, they were so strong. I could never be like that. I want people to see that these ordinary people, dear, faithful, ordinary people who were not famous at all, were given the courage and the strength they needed by the Lord to be faithful in this dark hour, that we too, whatever moments we face, those hidden moments of obedience day by day, and then maybe, who knows what we'll face in the future, we'll be ready if we're quietly living hidden lives of obedience right now.
Amen. Now, the stage version of this, when you had this on stage last summer in Nashville, this completely sold out. It obviously was very successful. Why do you think it was so successful?
Well, part of it is the brand. I mean, there is a large group of people who know the story of the Ten Booms. So there's the brand, but goodness, I think people love a great story. I think they love to see people overcome great odds and come out on the other side victorious. I've been on stage here for 50 years, so my name is known here. And associated with local theater. So that, I think, helped sell tickets. Plus, Matt Logan has directed so many fantastic shows here through the years. His name helped sell it. Pete Peterson is a novelist and playwright and the editor-in-chief of Rabbit Room Theater. So, there were great people involved. John Schuck is a movie star. He played Caspar Ten Boom. Carrie Tillis played Betsy Ten Boom. So, she's a country music singer. So there were people involved who had some name recognition. But I also believe that there are just so many people who love the story of the Ten Boom family and the great World War II story.
At the end of the day, what are you hoping that the audience will take away from this?
Prepare now. Prepare now. You never know what your greatest hour, your finest moment will be, but you'll be ready for it. There's a fabulous story that Corrie told about her dad, Caspar. She, as a younger woman, was talking to him, and she was troubled about whether or not she would be able to handle what might happen. And he asked her, he said, Corrie, when you were little and we went to go visit Tante Jan's in Amsterdam, when did I give you the ticket to get on the train for the trip? And she said, you gave me the ticket right before I got on the train. And he said, that's right. I gave you the ticket when you needed it. And he said, our Father in heaven will give you the ticket for what you need to face right before you need it. So rest, trust him. You'll be ready because he will equip you. So that's what I hope. I hope people walk away encouraged and fearless.
That's powerful and well said. Thank you so much for making time for us. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you, Colleen. It's been my pleasure.